I'm Warren Davis, and you're watching the Evercade Effect.
Evercade Effect.
Hi everybody, it's time again for me to do another kind of chill and chat play where I just talk about a topic that's on my mind. I either play one of my favorite games or a series in games, and you just watch the gameplay and you're entertained, and I get in here and do some deep thoughts. I did go ahead and pick Bad Dudes on Purpose. Nostalgic speaking, it is one of my favorite games, and it's kind of a chill back game where I can just go ahead and play, not worry about anything, and sort of speak some of these things that are on my mind. And for the fun of it, I chose competition mode, just to show that, like there's any save states. So let's go ahead, let's play through this, and, it's time for a chill and chat. Let me go ahead and coin up here. And I did set unlimited coins. So today's topic, I just kind of want to talk about, why would I make a channel that is dedicated, to Evercade? Why would somebody go ahead and do that and just strictly talk about Evercade and, not really any of the other products? And, so first off, one of the reasons I chose Evercade because that's my passion. I think it's important for people to know that I've talked about this before, but as I've gotten older, there really hasn't been anything video game wise that just got me excited, and I hate that about myself. As I've gotten older, over the years, it's just a real bummer. I don't get excited about games like I used to, and with Evercade. The hype here with the new carts, it's like having Christmas every few months. It's really neat getting a physical copy and getting that game, when you were a kid. It's super fun. And it's about discovery, and everything is licensed, so I think some of it's kind of a challenge to see what can Blaze get. Everything is priced right, it's all plug and play. You get fantastic booklets and all that. I mean, you all know the deal. So, as much as I love, Steam Deck and indie games and all that, it just doesn't get me as excited per se. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, when there's a new Steam game that I want to get, I download it, and it's kind of exciting for a few moments, and then that wears off, and then it just becomes a normal gaming experience. And maybe for me, kind of as I've gotten older, maybe that's not having just a normal gaming experience. Maybe that's not good enough. Maybe I want a little bit more. And so Evercade, for that reason, scratches that itch. Next week, depending on when you listen to this video or not, there's going to be the Showcase Volume 1. Blaze is going to announce all their great games and hopefully things that they're going to be adding for the rest of the year. And I know I'll really be looking forward to that. So that's just surrounding the hype. Again, depending when you're listening to this, at the end of May, we get Pico Collection 3, which is going to be fantastic, and we get the Amiga Collection 1. Yeah. And hopefully for once it's a good computer collection. No, but all seriousness, I'm really looking forward to that. So, because of this, and because of the excitement, it makes me want to share this joy with other people, and that's where the channel comes in. Initially, I watched Pete, the Ever Canadian, and Rich from Bacon Ice Cream Productions, and they started doing Evercast and covering on their channel, and Crow as well. He started doing his ranking videos and covering, and so I saw these people that were passionate about something, and I wanted to know why. What was different about this product? What's different about Evercade? Than just using standard emulation where you can play everything that you want. And at that time, I was playing, if you believe it or not, I got RetroArch configured on my Fire Stick. Oh, by the way, I'm bad! Sorry, had to do that here. Take a quick sip of my coffee. So, as I was saying, I was playing Fire Stick. I got that set up for RetroArch. Yes, you can do that. And I was enjoying playing games and playing my favorite games like your Marios and your Zeldas and all that, and arcade and Dreamcast and TurboGrafx 16 CD, and it's all fun for a while, but then you get to a point where, I played everything. What else am I going to play next? And nothing seems as special. It's as easy to download and configure. I mean, yeah, some things were a pain to set up, but admittedly, I really enjoyed the curation, setting up the ROMs and the cover art. Of course, I got burnt out on that, but I wanted something more. And I know I'm taking a while to kind of give you the backstory, but I think it's important for you to understand why I have a channel dedicated just to Evercade. So initially, with the OG White handheld came out, that was something different. It was portable. I love my portable systems. I owned a Game Gear, OG Game Boy, and Game Boy Color growing up. I loved I loved all my portables. So yeah, that added some spiciness and something different, and I like the idea of being able to play Atari and Namco. Those sold me in the beginning, the nostalgia of it, because I was like, huh, what are these extra different games? I've never played these games. It's kind of weird. So initially, when I went over to Evercade, it wasn't because of the discovery. It wasn't because I wanted to play these different games. It was because of the nostalgia. And I was like, yeah, even though I could fire up something like Pac-Man on an emulator, I don't know why. Even though it was the Nintendo version down at the arcade, there was something special about popping in a cart, playing that, having a full polished collection, and the menus and everything. Not just the physical aspect. It was a really nice package, and I'd gotten that for Christmas. And this was back in the day where like shipped from the UK, like $212, you could get all the first 10 carts in the OG handheld, which is pretty neat. And I really didn't expect it to catch on. I kind of maybe thought it was a one and done, but at the same time, like, hey, if they continue this, it's pretty cool. And I was really enjoying it, diving into those collections like a kid in a candy store, playing through everything, and after watching, Pete and Rich for a while, seeing them do Evercast, talking about games, giving opinions, I was like, man, that would be a lot of fun. Like, I'd like to get to know those guys. I'd like to talk to those guys. That would be so much fun, and I'd like to be on that channel. And so I, reached out to Pete, wrote about a manifesto. I think I've told about this before, a long email. And I just, at the end of it, I was just like, hey, I think we should do something together. If you don't want to, I totally understand. And I really didn't know if I was going to get a response. And Pete did, and he said, hey, go ahead and, we'd like to have you on the channel. So I take a sip there. And at the time, I really didn't know Rich. He was just some nerdy dude with his own channel, playing games and being on there. And it was kind of an interesting experience. I thought it was just going to be one and done. They liked me, I liked them, and they kept inviting me to come back. And still, I had no intentions of doing my YouTube channel. I just kind of, Pete gave me a segment like, did you know? And, I kind of, that wet my beak a little bit. And after a while, actually, my wife encouraged me too. She's like, hey, you should do a YouTube channel. There's something there, like her exact words. And I was like, sure. And so then at that point, I just, was kind of figuring stuff out. I was like, hey, point the camera at me. My very first video, that's all it is. It's an older phone. I think it's like a Galaxy like S8 or something. I pointed it at me, turbo audio and all that, and I just started to talk about games in the Evercade. So the idea was, hey, this is something that gave me passion and enjoyment. There's a niche group of cool and interesting people. I'd like to be part of that community. It's something affordable that I can get into. And this is even before like retro prices were going insane, but still. And this is something different, and I kind of thought to myself, if I really did want to play my Marios and Zeldas and all that, I'd be firing up on an emulator and be happy, but that wasn't the case. Yeah, I enjoyed the experience. I kind of learned about the discovery, and all the different games and everything. Oh yeah, and Double Dragon too, that was other nostalgia. I had the Atari, the Namco's, and Double Dragon drew me in. And then the Lynx collections, I was like, this is something different. Never owned a Lynx, had a buddy who had a Lynx. So it was like little bits and pieces of nostalgia got me hooked. And then I slowly started to get into it and really like it. And like these arcade, don't even get me started how excellent these arcade collections are. I mean, again, I could fire up Corn Up X and play these on my Steam Deck. This is even before I had a Steam Deck. There's just something neat about just being able to pop in a cart and have your same save states be on the handheld, stay on the cart, be on the VS, and just being able to actually play this as a real console. I would never be able to own the cabinet. There's just, I can't really just explain it. I mean, the whole key to Evercade's nostalgia. I think some of it is, definitely, I'm sorry, not nostalgia. Sorry, getting lost in the fight. The physical aspect. The key to Evercade is the physical aspect, the physical media, and that helps the secret sauce of the whole, what I call the whole Evercade experience. Part nostalgia, part simplicity of just being able to like plug and play and plug the things in, And Evercade is Blaze is a small company. Yeah, it takes some time to get caught up on some features. At the time of making this video, we do have beta, button remapping, and even for a game like this where there's 2 buttons, it's definitely a quality of life feature. Definitely for sure. And truth be told, I didn't actually map the right buttons, and I don't know why. But hey, it's better than the defaults, and I didn't want to start over after getting into this because I'm in the zone. Anywho's will be. So yeah. The Evercade package kind of combines everything in one, getting that surprise. Who doesn't like something in the mail? Having it being like Christmas, the discovery, and then actually being able to own these games, without having to pay an arm and a leg, so to speak. So now I want to touch back on something that I said a few moments ago. So it's about being part of a community. I'm bad, and sharing the joy, with others here. If you hear me go silent for a second, I'm sipping coffee. Because otherwise, and I mean this, if it wasn't for you all in the community, and I'm not just talking about Rich, Pete, and Crow, it wasn't for you all the viewers and everything, I'd be some dude in the basement playing games with myself. And I'd be perfectly honest, if there wasn't a community around Evercade, I don't think I would be into it as much. I would still have it. I think it would just be something that I wouldn't be playing as much. I would probably pull it out, every now and again from my closet. But it's because of the community, people's reactions, people's responses, and the hype train that Blaze has created that keeps me going on. I think it's fabulous that Blaze keeps popping them out, but don't pop out too many carts. I don't want to be like unlimited games where Games Limited or whatever the hell, or they take advantage of people and keep popping out a bunch of physical content, or, when I mean content, physical cartridges that aren't really physical because you still have to be online. Blaze pops out just enough to where you can afford to collect the entire collection in a year. I think that's great. Even if you were to get into Evercade right now and start from the beginning, it's obtainable. Over a few years you'll have everything and you'll be caught up. I started when it was, I think I was at least like 10 carts or so behind. And then actually, that's when I bought the base pack, and then slowly I kind of got caught up and everything else. And it's really one of the main things I value spending my money on. I love my indie games on Steam. I typically will wait for things to go on sale unless I'm given like a gift card or for a holiday or birthday, because I'm always worried about what value that I'm going to get at a game. Yeah, I know it might be something weird, but if a game's a couple bucks, it's totally worth it. If it's a good roguelike and it's under $10, for me, it's totally worth it. But with Evercade, you're at least going to get, on average, 6 or 8 games, more or less, depending on the dual carts and everything else. You're going to get your value, and there's going to be stuff here. I just can't even begin to talk about how fantastic this Data East card is. That's one of my favorite carts to put in. And actually, I believe it's the one that you do get with the VS, or is it Technos? And you can get the bundle. But anyways, it's for things like this. That's just super fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to this year. I've seen those extra features that Blaze is going to add. I really hope we do get online leaderboards. I think that'll bring the community further. For a game like this, sure, yeah, you're gonna beat it and probably always get some certain score. But there's a ton of other games, arcade and non-arcade wise, that I'd be into. And on console games, if we are able to get score, look out, Food Fight. I will that game personally. I will try to keep and get the #1 spot. I love that game. I digress. So, what does this have to do with why I have a YouTube channel? Well, it's just something, not only was it something that was just a lot of fun to get into for the beginning, it's also really been therapy for me. And I kid you not, you may hear a lot of YouTubers say, like, you definitely don't make money off of YouTube, especially right away. And I haven't made a penny off of YouTube. But that wasn't my goal. If anything, it does cost money to buy Evercade cards, to buy equipment. So yeah, it's one of those things where if you do want to be a YouTuber, you're gonna be all in. But for me though, it's well worth it because it's my free therapy. Whether I'm going through doing a play session like this and just speaking from the heart, or I have something geeky that I want to go through, review, and analyze. My style has changed in the past where sometimes I have creative moments and I want to put in like weird clips and noises. Yeah, sometimes I'll still do that. But it's my channel. It's whatever feel right. And I love the community and their feedback. Now that I've had the community tab for a while, creating those surveys and y'all's participation has been super fantastic. And getting the feedback and what type of videos y'all like and whatnot, has really been key because I want to make content and I want to make content for all of you. That's one of the reasons now when I go through my playthroughs of new carts, I used to do a tight 10-minute video, but now I go ahead and I play the full thing with with the ability to jump to the different sections, because I figure some of you like the long playthroughs. Maybe you want to have it in the background. Maybe there's a certain game you want to see. And then if you don't want to go through and see every single game that I play, you can just skip to the sections that you want. I'm bad! And then you can go to the end. So yeah, there's been certain periods of my life over the last few years where I'll just say this. Work has been on the stressful side, and I'm more on the uncertainty side. And even nowadays, it's still on the stressful side. Don't worry, I can cope. But it's things like this, on a weeknight, I can just sit down, I can play my Evercade. It's also a good excuse for me to revisit some of these, older great classic games, and I can just talk about it. And that's why I say it's my, it's my therapy. It's my creative freedom. When I have rough weeks at work, It helps with that. There have been times on and off in my personal life, various reasons. Not going to go into details. Things have been tough, and this also helps with that. So video games has just always been there for me. Just as a sense of therapy, self-expression, accomplishment. And it still continues to be that. It's one of those things as an adult that I just haven't been able to escape. There have been times in my life when I was younger, I wanted to put video games aside, and become serious. My daughter was born 15 years ago. I did give up video gaming entirely for 6 months until kind of got a handle on things, and she got older. And then at that point, I got into single player games, which was kind of a great escape from online gaming and MMOs. Which that'll be another. That's going to take a whole video in itself. I can tell you why I really dislike MMOs and how they betrayed me. And there was a time where that's all I wanted to do in life, and that's been a huge wild roller coaster. Go ahead and comment below. That's something you'd be interested and hearing on this channel, about MMOs, and why I don't play them anymore, and why I would not be a fan if they were on the Evercade. So, anywho, without going too far off topic, so yeah, I just haven't been able to escape video games, and for a while I thought I needed to, but no, I don't want to, and that's why it bums me out when I just. It's not something I just want to give up and not be interested in. If I all of a sudden am just not interested in playing any type of video games, there's something seriously wrong with me. And Evercade is one of those ecosystems that keeps me coming back more for gaming, keeps gaming excited, keeps gaming fresh. I think people forget that Blaze is a small company, and yes, maybe while I say things like, we need button mapping yesterday, we need turbo. For me, I feel it's important for content creators like myself, like Crow, like Rich, and whoever else out there, to give feedback. Because Blaze needs, we need to keep Blaze on their toes, like any other company. Well, even though they're small, I think they're great people. That's still no excuse. They still can't slack, and I feel that we keep them honest. So when I say, I really want this or that, and I'm passionate about it, it's because I am. From the moment I made this channel, I have not once lied or given any falsehood. I speak my mind. If anything, I will tell you all this, especially in the beginning, I held back a little bit from being, let's say, my true weirdness, more of my authentic self. The retrogaming didn't even come into play later on. And as I became comfortable with you all and started to get more of a following, I kind of let more of my true self come out. And even maybe sometimes I might hold back a little bit, but that's just something of me. Sometimes maybe I feel like I might drive people away, or people will think it's an act and all that. But no, it's just me. But over time, trust me, I've been more comfortable. If you were to meet me in real life, you would see initially that I would be a little bit shy, but then once you got to know me, the more you got to know me, the more comfortable I felt, you definitely will see Ed, the Retro Kill-9, come out in rare form. 100%, definitely for sure. Even ask my wife, this is who I am! It does also help me get out all my goofiness and weirdness, so I don't drive my family crazy with it. They're pretty good at tolerating it, but, living with someone like myself, 24/7, it's one of those different things. So yeah, I've always been really accepted in the video game community. Ever since I was born, I just, I'm different. I just knew that I was different than more people in the way that I think and the way that I am. I'm definitely very neurodivergent. If y'all aren't familiar with neurodivergent, look it up. It's not a medical term, but it's just it's just how people think differently and how all our minds are wired differently. And there's a wide spectrum of people on the way that they think and how they are. And so a lot of us like things that make us feel comfortable. A lot of things are repetitive. A lot of things are routine. Video games always fills that. And for me, there's always been something comforting about that. And so I honestly feel like with the YouTube community, I can find a lot of like-minded people. Yeah, sure, there's always asshats here and there. But you know what? There's far and few between. And, the loyal viewers and everybody who comes to Evercast, I'm bad! So yeah, I had to do that. Who comes to Evercast, who watches my videos, who comments or participates. It really means a lot. I can't tell you how many times, let's say if I'm just having a bad day, and there's craziness going on in life, and somebody makes a comment, and they're like, oh man, dude, I loved your video, that was awesome! Or they bother to go ahead and write a novel and share a full story with me about their experiences. I appreciate that so much. As a content creator, it's no secret that anytime, I don't care how big of a channel or how small of a channel you are, it's something that you always love and adore when somebody makes a comment of how much they liked your video. there's always something great about that, because for me that's like why I do this. I mean, yeah, I know some people do this and make a living at it, but I know initially I'd like to think that they still feel that part of them, no matter how big or small of a YouTuber you are, isn't lost. And so anytime you tell a YouTuber how much you enjoyed their video, it was great, anything positive, it's to the roof. With that said, anytime you make negative comments or anything else, yes, it really does affect that individual, even though we're not going to come out and say it. But yeah, it definitely messes with people. And I'm just talking to the people that are just saying negative comments just to be nasty for no reason. You know, they really they really want to try to ruin your day and all that. But with me, 99% of the time, I don't let it get to me. And if there is somebody out there who thinks that they're special and they want to do that, then they just get into my channel, and I move on in my life. Well, the one thing I do want to avoid is I do not want to be a drama channel, even though maybe, sure, some opinions and things I've talked about might have, stir up drama. I can guarantee you when I make a video at the time, I don't sit there and think, what can I do to get the most views? What can I do to get the most hits? I bet this is clickbait. If someone clicks on this, oh my god. No. I give my honest feedback, how I feel at the time, what I want to talk about. That is one thing. Every now and then somebody will say, hey man, this is clickbait. No. Clickbait, and one YouTuber put it, perfectly. Clickbait is if you show the thumbnails, you show, let's say, some pictures of some like hot looking or scanty looking women, and then you go to click on it, and then once you click on it, it's like a friggin' like infomercial or something. It's not the topic at all. Yes, our thumbnails exaggerated, of course. Our headlines exaggerated, of course. We're trying to compete with the millions upon millions of people out there making YouTube videos. Yes, we all want you to click on our thumbnail. We all want you to hear what we have to say. So yeah, there's competition. And most of my fellow content creators that I watch, I mean, I don't think anyone steps over that line. It's just it's part of the process. And when you do see that, for those of you on my channel who are subscribed, note that's not for you. I know you've subscribed to my channel because you like my content. You'll watch like a lot of my videos, and I so appreciate that. This is for the new people out there. I can catch their attention, and then maybe once they get in my channel, maybe they like what I have to say and they sub, or maybe they go tell me to pound sand. But yeah, at least there's that chance. And I can tell you that like a lot of thoughts do go into to the titles and the thumbnails and all that other stuff. Let me go ahead and take a drink here. So, now that I've kind of shared with you, some information about why I have the channel, and I've touched on dedicated to Evercade. I think this is something I'm passionate about, something I'm into, and I think I'll do this as long as Blaze continues to put out carts. For me, the only thing that would break Blaze is if they started having a digital online store. If they started to have a digital online store, or they sold it to like a big company and they did something different, then the soul of Blaze's initial attention is dead. And if they had an online digital store, I see no difference in downloading and playing ROMs, on my Steam Deck as I would, on Evercade device if it's digital only. Because again, then it's lost the soul of what's made it special for all those things that I've gone ahead and talked about. So from time to time, I'll talk about things, kind of be like on the gray line of things that relate to Evercade and not. But for me, I wanted to keep this channel pure for a few reasons. Number one, when I sub to somebody, and let's say there is a topic that I'm interested in, like I'll use the Steam Deck for example. Before I was looking into that, I would see a content creator would put out a video, let's say on the Steam Deck. Let's say I really liked that video. I'd go to their channel, I'd look at their videos, and some of them, they were all over the place. They had like Nintendo Switch games, JRPGs, other things really out of left field and very random. And for me, I was looking for a specific subject, and I wanted it to be focused on that specific subject. So one of the reasons I've kept this as being Evercade is because when you come to my channel, I'd like to think, oh, I'm bad! I'd like to think it's because you're either wanting to get entertainment, knowledge, or whatever out of Evercade itself. You don't want to be tuning in and seeing some other product or seeing something completely unrelated. Generally for the most part, you subscribe to an Evercade channel, that's what you get. That's and from the beginning, I've set that up. I've been an Evercade channel from the beginning. Yeah, there have been a few times where I've gone, kind of the gray area, like when I went to Game Fest, I was representing Evercade, and I thought that would be interesting to my audience. After all, it is based off Etcher. And then one time I did do a Tetris collection, which I thought about re-releasing on calling on Retro Gamers. Let me know if you think that'd be a good fit for that second channel, and I'll get into that. So I just want you to get, as advertised. Plus, it helps keep me focused. It keeps me in the ecosystem for Evercade and to not stray. I will tell you that there are some times where it's difficult to come up with a video. You can't always do videos on content. You can't always do videos on playing games. Yeah, if there's a certain game that I'm passionate about or I want to do a review, I'll do it. But honestly, I can't just go through and play everything just to do it. So I think that offers a unique experience. I know typically when you do reviews on something, like on a collection, you're supposed to play all the games and play them for a while. For example, Crow plays them to death, and that's awesome. He does that. For me, no. If I don't like something, if I don't like to, I can't force myself to play it, even for the sake of review. But what I try to kind of represent somebody. I try to represent. I like to think I can connect a little people, represent that different person, not your average gamer, kind of that different person who's maybe a little bit finicky or quirky for playing games. And then I think it should say, speaking itself, if it's something that just cannot hold my attention, whether it be the controls, the plotline, or the game itself, and it's not worth playing, then I think that speaks volumes in a review that, hey, maybe you can, avoid this, or maybe I don't like, but it doesn't mean maybe you shouldn't explore it yourself. So, I'm sure there's people out there maybe thought I was crazy for not playing some like Winter Games, and like, why doesn't Ed give it more of a chance? And then they play it, and then they love it. So there's that effect of it too, but everything I do is brutally honest, depending how I feel. Maybe if I were to make tomorrow, if I were to record a video, maybe I wouldn't feel like doing this kind of chill and chat session, or maybe I would. A lot of things, honestly, it's kind of the spontaneous side of me, how I feel in the moment. Some things are planned, like we have the showcase volume 1, depending on when you are watching this video, will come out at the end of May here. I can't see, in the middle of playing, and that I know I'm going to go ahead and talk about. That I'm going to talk about for sure. Another thing you should know too, that with some of my videos, if you see that I ramble on too much, actually no, you probably won't see that. There have been very few times where if I go back and I watch my videos and I don't understand something, I'll cut it. Because if I can understand it, how's my end supposed to? However, in some of these longer formats, generally I've kept all that in, and sorry, that's like I generally won't do that. So, kid you not, over time, I have been jonesing to do other retro things, not just Evercade, because for my love of retro, and that's what you'll see on Calling All Retro Gamers. Other content like that, I don't want to force down people. If you, I know some of you like that type of thing, great. If you want to see what cool latest indie game, awesome. If you want to know more about how I feel with the Steam Deck, great. Check out Calling All Retro Gamers. If you want to watch a live podcast with me and my buddy Rich from Bacon Ice Cream Productions, I want us to talk about unrelated things that we wouldn't talk about on Evercast. See that too. Although we do call this channel Evercast too, because there's a lot of crossover. So it's kind of like if you want to get more out of what you just see, go ahead and pop over there. We're trying to grow that channel as well. It's about growing communities. Taking a sip here. So that was some of the need. Again, really that channel, really Calling Retro Gamers, was just born out of I can keep in touch with my buddy Retro Rich, an excuse for us to stay together our busy lives. And then after just doing the podcast for a while, I was just like, hey, couldn't we do other stuff on this channel that doesn't fit into our channel? And he was like, heck yeah, man, I think that's a great idea. So that's where that started. And for me, that keeps it keeps the Evercade effect pure. I can pretty much do whatever I want on the second channel that's not related to Evercade, and everything really related to Evercade is here. The same token, we really try not to talk too much about Evercade on the second channel, and save it for Evercast. So it gives me another outlet, and you'll see that in the community feed. I'll say, hey, I've done this video, or I'll put it on Twitter. I'll do that once, and that way I'm just letting you all know who maybe you aren't subscribed to my second channel, but maybe sometimes you pay attention just to certain videos, and you're selective, you want to watch just certain videos. So that's all. I'm not trying to push that. Do something more I'm just proud of, saying, hey, I did this video, check it out. One thing I should mention is that the content on this channel never suffers for the other channel. I've never thought, oh man, I should do a video on car organs of this channel. No. If anything else, sometimes it's really fueled this channel and got me in the mood. Like over last weekend, I did that video on CoinOps X4 Legends on Karg. And that got me more fired up to go ahead and do this. And matter of fact, I wanted to make this video right afterwards. I'm like, no, I need to wait. Let me save it for kind of the middle of next week when I need it. And I just want to kind of come down here and blow off some steam. So yeah, they really complement each other very well. And so Evercast, let's talk about that. That's been probably the biggest change in my channel. I love that. And it's not just because I want to reach 1,000 subs. It's a tool to help me reach there. But I'm just so grateful that you all continued to watch Evercast on my channel, and that you'll watch Evercast on any of our channels, really, and that you all like the community that me, Pete, Rich, and Crow have created. And for me, it's a lot of responsibility, and I love it. It's helping me grow as an individual. Having to take charge live publicly and kind of direct a channel. And hopefully, I do just as well. And that's Evercast is one of those things that's just a great release for me every week. So, yeah, Evercade is just really been there for me. You just got to keep up with the carts, or at least I do, because my channel is dedicated to the greatest news. Keep up with the news, keep up with the carts, keep up with all the fun. Take another sip there, and just to let you all know, I even have plans. Let's say someday, let's bring this up while we still have some time here to play through the game. And just over 30 minutes into this video, if you're still with me, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And if you want to let me know that you've made it not quite to the end, but close towards the end of the video, go ahead and put in the comments red stick. Put in the comments red stick, and I'll know that you've made it at least 30 minutes into the video. And we'll have something when I beat the boss. Who knows? I'll go ahead and talk about that. And speaking of the boss, here it is. So, yeah, as I was saying, Evercast I love. It's just, it's great. It's always been a way for me to blow off some... Oh, I know where my mind went. I'm sorry. I was talking about life even after Evercast. And I can't take full credit with this, because one of the discussions I've had with Rich is, by the way, me and Rich do keep in touch through text and all that. Every now and then, when I just kind of feel it's necessary, I'll call him, and he'll answer. Surprisingly, no, and me and him we'll just chat and shoot the shit. So yeah, and one of those conversations, I told him, I said, man, what are we gonna do someday? We know Blaze can't go on forever. We hope they go on for a long time. What are we going to do? And so then he was telling, well, then at that point, when Evercade is done, you're gonna want to, it'd be kind of fun to do more like mini documentaries, a longer style of videos. Pick a game from a collection, go all into it, go all into the history. Much kind of actually like you see like a Sega Lord X or somebody else do. See if I'll do I'm bad. Oh, real quick here. Let's see if they fix the ending. Oh, I'm bad. Let's see if they fix the ending where you can actually see what the president here says instead of just being a blank screen. We're gonna go ahead and see. Hold that thought. Hey, dudes, thanks for rescuing me. Let's go for a burger. Okay, they showed this before. That's after this screen. And then we'll go back to that thought. And we'll wrap things up. It's this screen here. Okay. So this version of the ROM does not have the text that normally go across the screen for the ending. And that's okay. Yeah. That's totally okay. Gosh, now now I totally got confused and totally lost my thoughts here, which is kind of the part of doing this and just being off the cuff. So let's see. I was talking about Evercast, and it's escaped my brain, but maybe I'll come back. But yeah, if you're wondering why you're staring at a screen, it's because this version of the ROM doesn't have the letters as or the words going across and like all the credits and everything. As Crow talked about in a previous Evercast, his version of the arcade one-up has it. I know when I've like beaten it on MAME or something else has been there. It's been there. Anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to do this, give some insight into how much the community, the end, there we go, and everything means to me. Sit through and play a game that's really nostalgic to me, from the past. And you know what? I guess I was so into talking, I forgot I would beat the game soon. I'll go ahead and I'll put in my name, even though it absolutely it doesn't matter at all, because it's not going to save this because it's a competition mode, and everybody always gets no. Anyways, so if you have made it this far in the video, still go ahead and put in red stick. If you yeah, just go ahead and put in red stick. And if you made it close to the end or the ending, you're probably still here at this point. If you like these type of videos, go ahead and comment. Let me know. That's something that I do every single time, but every now and then it's just kind of a sit down and do a play session, talk about something passionate, and just talk off the cuff, even more unrehearsed, kind of give you a little bit of insight into who I am and everything. And if you happen to stumble upon this, through the YouTubeverse, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It really, really helps me out. You're going to want to also subscribe because we do a weekly podcast called Evercast, which is a fan podcast with me, Retro Rich, Evercanadian, or Pete the Evercanadian, and Crow for Bacon Ice Cream Productions. And you're going to want to miss that. Go ahead, continue to take this journey with me to 1,000 subs. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.